Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Matthew, and I'm the marketing strategist at Dynasty USA. Dynasty USA has recently begun a new online series called the Dynasty Artist Series. The Dynasty Artist Series is aimed at working with our artists to show off their unique skills and talents to our viewers through an online virtual clinic series. Starting off, the Dynasty Artist Series is a master educator of more than 25 years. He currently teaches at the #2 online school in the nation, and he's the current judge for DCI, WGI, and BOA, Jeff Ausdemore.
Hi, Stephen. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, Jeff, it's great to have you. What are you doing these days? What are you up to?
Well, in this crazy time that we're living in, I've actually been staying incredibly productive. I've been practicing a whole lot. I've got a lot of arranging projects, some composition projects, and a personal project coming up that I'm excited to announce here in the next several weeks. So staying busy, staying optimistic, and making the best out of it.
That's great to hear, Jeff. What's your current role looking like? What's your full-time position right now?
Currently, I am the director of music for iUniversity Prep, a virtual academy in Grapevine, Colleyville ISD. That definitely keeps me busy with all the music classes, the applied music classes, music theory and history, so on and so forth, as well as my position with iUniversity Prep. I'm arranging for several clients. I'm consulting for several schools, composing quite a bit. I have a commission coming up for the Midwest Clinic, and I've got a personal announcement coming up here in the next several weeks as well. I'm looking forward to announcing.
Nice. iUniversity Prep, could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, sir. iUniversity Prep is a tuition-free public school based in Grapevine, Colleyville. It is a virtual academy, and Dr. Kay Rogers, being the director of online learning for the district, set this up 5 or 6 years ago. It is an incredible place to teach. I believe we are the #1 virtual school in the state of Texas and the second virtual school in the United States.
Nice. So I take it you do a lot of online teaching then?
That's correct. That's correct. All of our classes are online through iUniversity Prep, with the exception of tutorials, meetups, field trips, so on and so forth, which obviously, as of late, have not happened. So yes, the majority of the curriculum is all online. So I interface with my students all over the state of Texas online.
Very impressive. I'm sure you run into your own specific set of problems, though. What challenges do you face?
I think the challenges that we face as online educators tend to get ironed out very quickly once we realize what our role is as a facilitator for young people in their education. I don't necessarily see that as a challenge necessarily. I do look at it as a paradigm shift in which we are facilitating how they're learning rather than presenting them with in-person curriculum and those tools every day.
Right. I'm sure you have a ton of information to give today about teaching online, the challenges we face as educators, and other problems that we'll run into and ways to overcome them today. I'm really looking forward to this clinic for you, Jeff.
Thank you, Stephen. I hope so. My traditional role as a percussion director prior to my position at iUniversity Prep, I think has positioned me in a very unique way to discuss what music educators are going through right now, as well as what I'm able to do every day at iUniversity Prep. Looking forward to it.
Well, it sounds great. Let's dive in.
Wonderful. It's crucial to understand what virtual teaching is and what it is not. I think in the wake of today's social uncertainty, most of the world's educational communities have been placed in the extremely difficult position of teaching in some sort of distance learning format. The vast majority of those teachers have not been fully trained, if at all, on how to move their extensive curriculum online and deliver lessons designed for the classroom, the band hall, the choir program, etc., from their home. In the fine arts, the challenge of teaching our craft to our students quickly becomes despairing if we lose sight of what we are able to do from an online perspective. However, the teaching community is incredibly resilient, and we've adapted quickly. In fact, I'd love to honor all the teachers, including my wife, that are completely devoting so much of their energy and time into a medium in which very few have had any experience teaching in. None of the teachers that started this school year in a brick and mortar building planned to be teaching from home to finish their spring semester. However, students and parents are navigating these challenges as well, and the learning curve for everyone is steep. With this being said, it's extremely easy to navigate to the negative side of what we're all going through, and taking on the challenges of virtual teaching can certainly be daunting if you are solely experienced as a teacher with students in person. However, if you truly take advantage of all the inherent built-in opportunities in the virtual setting, you can discover some underlying benefits to virtual education that I'll discuss next. I think the most important thing for music educators to do right now is really allow students time to explore their instruments. I think students should really be afforded the time to explore their instruments or any lesson or assignment that you give them without feeling as if they need to move on to the next lesson and the next and the next, etc. Remember, these students have other teachers that are probably not in close communication with you regarding the amount of homework being assigned, so I would recommend you err on the side of less with a higher quality so that your students can focus on their learning, rather than checking off yet another lesson for the day. For all of the fantastic opportunities that schools offer within the music education system, Texas certainly being one of them, downtime is not one of them. Music students are accustomed to having an abundance of structured activities and near constant stimuli at their fingertips. Allowing your students a portion of time to sit and truly explore their instrument with or without music may be really hard at first, but the struggle is often worth the effort to bolster their imagination, their creativity, and their musical self-discovery. In fact, these are incredible opportunities for metacognition to bloom. Trial and error, building upon small success after small success, are key components to developing a young musician's sound and dexterity on their instrument. I'll share the story of one of my earliest musical memories. When I was in 6th grade and I finally took home my snare drum and my bell kit and my practice pad, I couldn't wait to run up to my bedroom and set everything up. And I still remember what my hands felt like trying to play even 16th notes and trying to recreate what a buzz sounded like on the pad and playing a B-flat major scale. And to a very large degree, that re-exploration in my professional life has never left me. I think that's an important part of developing your own voice. And in many ways, the explorative side of my own practicing has never really changed from that first day when I brought home the snare drum. So overall, I would highly recommend teachers to find ways to let their students experiment with sound, technique, and start to develop their own musical voice. So I think one of the opportunities in the virtual environment is allowing students to really explore something on a more personal level and doing a deep dive into music in a very intimate setting that we don't always have in the context of an ensemble. So giving the students meaningful listening assignments would certainly be one of those advantages. So typically, this is not a priority in the band or orchestra or choir hall. Having your students spend dedicated quality time listening deeply to music. Have your students find an artist or some pieces that move them and have them research them as much as possible. Have your students use all of their technology at their disposal to do a deep dive into music that interests them. After they've spent quality time listening to an artist or a composer or a certain piece of music, have them reflect and share with you or the rest of the class. Make those reflections available to all of your students so they can expand their musical repertoire through the eyes of their peers, not simply through you, their teacher. This is a fantastic opportunity for students to discover they may have a passion for a peripheral field of musical study along with their chosen instrument, such as composition, arranging, music production, or engineering, all kinds of related musical fields they may not have been exposed to in your regular class. Another opportunity is to present your students with some sort of research or a piece that they would like to play that they find themselves. If a student has ownership of a project, you may be surprised to find how much they actually care about deep diving into that piece of music to make it happen. Don't necessarily limit the student to a specific genre. Let them show their personality and their musical taste through this special project. How about transcribing a pop song? This will certainly develop their oral skills, but more importantly, this will give the student a point of pride once they're able to play through an arrangement of something they created themselves. Often, students are playing music that adults suggest or sometimes just pick for them so much of the time. And this is an opportunity for the students to really research a piece of music and take ownership with your blessing and supervision, of course, at the end of the day. Music is one of the rare opportunities in life to create art individually as well as others. As a teaching community, we should maximize this opportunity to really allow students to live in their own musical exploration, not only from a technical standpoint, from a literature standpoint as well. Give them license to explore and take advantage of their new personal world at home. I think that we need to act empathetically on behalf of your students and yourself and ask some deeper, more philosophically emotional questions as well. We're all living in a period of uncertainty that no one predicted and may continue into the fall or perhaps even beyond. One of the tools to empower your students that may be struggling emotionally with our current situation is simply choice. Simply offering a variety of pathways for a student to demonstrate a skill, perhaps explain themselves on an assignment, or present something they've learned on their own that is relevant should be considered a win in our teaching book. The more you are able to encourage some type of connection through your assignments, your communication, your expectations, the more the students will engage and put forth an effort to do their best. For example, if you have students submit their 2-octave E-flat major scale at 90 beats a minute or higher in the backyard, you might ask them to do so, and then when they're finished with the scale, explain why it's their favorite spot. Or perhaps ask your students to tell a joke before passing off a rudiment with a metronome. And if they play 20 flams in a row without popping any of those flams, they may ask you, the teacher, to tell a joke back to them submitted through Flipgrid, Google Classroom, Canvas, etc. Many students struggle with anxiety in the classroom to begin with, so offering them an opportunity to let them show you their home, safe space is a great opportunity to see them in a different context than you would ever see them from your perspective at school. This affords the opportunity to build relationships with your students in a very personal way. Please keep in mind that expectations and technical guidance for students to submit homework will vary from district to district, school to school, and perhaps even teacher to teacher. Just as comparison is the thief of joy, What one educator is doing with their students may or may not be a great fit for your students. Remember, you know your students better than anyone else. You know your community. Always filter your decision-making through the lens of what is best for your individual kids. Try to consider all the myriad factors in their lives at the moment to guide you in that decision. They're struggling as much as we are. We need to show leadership from a tactical and emotional standpoint. Our educational landscape may never look the same, experiencing the shift to distance learning. However, just as we experience so many other trials in life, this particular social and educational challenge will not last forever. Even so, it's important to keep this in mind. Our students will certainly remember how we as teachers held ourselves throughout this experience. Perhaps the greatest skill that we can impart to our students in the wake of this crazy uncertainty is simply how to face adversity with a plan. Stay positive and know that this too shall pass with incredible love and support from our teachers from around the world. At the end of the day, if you're in a band hall, an orchestra hall, choir room, classroom, or simply your living room couch, the true effectiveness of a teacher comes down to your ability to develop sincere and trusting relationships with your students. In the most noble profession on earth, we teachers can make that happen anywhere.
Wow, what an information-packed clinic, Jeff. I'm sure there are a ton of teachers, a ton of educators that are going to walk away here with some great information that you gave to us today. I really enjoy the pedagogical stance that you took. I really enjoy making an effort to connect with your students on a deeper level than just what's across the screen. Seriously, Jeff, such a great job. Jeff, thank you so much for being a part of the artist series. Thank you so much for continuing the relationship of being a Dynasty artist with us now that we're located in Fort Worth, Texas. Speaking of that, we just dropped off a marimba at your house. How is that? The new Dynasty Elite Series 5-octave marimba. Jeff, how's that going for you?
Thank you so much, Stephen. It's my pleasure to represent Dynasty, a relationship I'm very proud of. And yes, I certainly did. I have the brand new 5-octave Rosewood Elite Series marimba sitting in my piano room as we speak. I've been playing on it nonstop, and it sounds incredible. I'm very, very fortunate to own it, play on it. It sounds amazing.
Jeff, that's great to hear. I'm glad the marimba is treating you so well. We're very proud of all of our products made here in the USA, and we're very proud of the new Dynasty Elite Series keyboard line that's out now. How about the new Titan electronic keyboard frame that it came on, huh? You can move it up and down at the touch of a button. Have you paired your smartphone up with it yet? Can you move it up and down on your smartphone?
The Titan E-frame is flawless. It was fantastic. It was so much fun downloading the app, looking at my smartphone, raising it to the perfect height, putting the phone down, and playing. It was that easy and so much fun. Having that much flexibility and control over the height was not only easy, but it made it ergonomically very, very comfortable.
That's so awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for putting on such a great clinic today. Everyone, thank you for tuning in, and I hope everyone stays safe, stays healthy, and you guys have a great weekend this weekend. We'll see you next month in the new Dynasty Artist Series that will soon be announced. Bye.
Thanks again, Stephen. Have a great day. Just happy to help.